When you're thinking about the search for life, it's a very complex question and it's multifaceted. And when I think about the question of the search for life, I'm not thinking of life like us. I'm not thinking of searching for humans or for habitable planets that we could colonize. The question that I'm interested in to start, at least, is on the microbial level, the first emergence of life. And the question is, how did life start? And if you have the same conditions elsewhere in the solar system or elsewhere in the galaxy where life started on Earth, and we don't even know where life started on Earth, but one of the places we think that it could have potentially started is in deep sea environments at these hydrothermal systems that don't require an atmosphere per se, that just require fresh material in the form of rock and salty liquid water oceans. If those environments exist in the solar system, which we are pretty sure they do, what are the chances that life has been kick-started there like it was here on Earth? I think that's the first step in a series of questions. And so to look for that level of life, to look for the emergence of life in a liquid water ocean at the base of a rocky interface, or even at the interface with the ice on top, if you have trapped organics, you don't really need an atmosphere. The difficult part of that, though, is when you go to the next level. That kind of life is not something we're going to be able to look for in other solar systems because there's an icy crust cutting off those oceans. It's a little bit difficult for them to get in communication with us, but who knows what can happen. Another idea for the formation of life is a fundamental question of, do you require liquid water? You know, we can only search for life as we know it because what do we know about life as we don't know it? Not much. But a group of scientists who study Saturn's moon Titan are starting to think about that question. Titan is the only moon in the solar system that has a substantial atmosphere. And Titan's atmosphere has properties, the temperature and pressure at its base, such that a component of that atmosphere, in this case methane, can condense out of it and flow on the surface as liquid. This makes Titan the only other place we know of in the solar system where you can have flowing liquids raining out of an atmosphere, creating a hydrologic system that's directly analogous to Earth's water cycle, but in this case, it's operating with methane, carbon with 4 hydrogens. And so Titan has methane lakes and seas. It also has methane channels, rivers, organic dunes. It has an entire system of surface features that are directly analogous to things we find here on Earth, but instead of being driven by a water cycle, they're driven by Titan's methane cycle. And so folks are starting to think about, with the material we have on Titan, could you form something that has the same processes of what we define here life on Earth to have? Can you create a cell wall that produces an inside and an outside of a cell so you can provide gradients and have something take energy in from its environment and put out waste products? Can you have something that self-replicates using organics in a methane liquid medium? Would that then adapt itself to its environment and mutate and replicate its mutations in its progeny? And if it does, that you're starting to hit each one of the elements that we would use to define life here on Earth. And if in fact there is some kind of weird life on Titan, which to be fair is very difficult because Titan's very cold. It's a balmy 91, 95 Kelvin, which is over 200 degrees Celsius colder than the room that you're standing in right now. And so things work really slowly. But if you can form life in those liquid hydrocarbon lakes and seas or other portions of Titan's environment, that's a true test of life's cosmic ubiquity. And that opens the door for what might exist outside of our solar system, since then you don't need liquid water. You have other mediums that you can support life in, and that would really expand our concept of what life could be. But to just bring it back a little bit, what we want to start looking for is life as we know it, because that's something we can actually grasp our heads around and look for, which is why that's where the focus of the search for life has been. But while we're searching for life as we know it, I think we shouldn't forget about also looking for life as we don't know it.